Hi everyone, my name is Gideon and very welcome to this week's episode of City Ripple. In today's episode, I'd like to explain and just rant a little bit about why I've got such a big problem with one of the most commonly used health measures here in the UK and also across the pond in America, called the BMI or Body Mass Index. The Body Mass Index is a very, very simple formula. It simply takes your total weight and divide it by your height squared, which gives you an index, and you can then look that up on a scale to see whether or not you're in a supposedly healthy range for your body weight. Now, to do this, I recently, or not recently, at the beginning of this series, just before I started my ketogenic diet and all the exercising, I had a very, very accurate scan done. It's called a Dexa scan. And it is normally used for elderly patients at risk of osteoporosis. So when they think someone might have osteoporosis, they do a Dexa scan, and then that gives them a very, very accurate measure of their bone density. But along with that, they also can give you a very accurate idea of your body fat and your lean mass. So really, really good technology that I would love to dive into a little bit more. So the company that I used is a company called Bodyscan UK. They are here in London. They've got clinics in Marylebone and in Bank, which is where I went to meet founder Phil Chunt, which was kind enough to do an interview with me. And so much information came out of that consultation. I'm really excited to share it with you, but it's too much, so I'll split it into two episodes. In this episode, we'll quickly see what Phil has to say about BMI, and I'll take you through some numbers. And then in the second episode, the following one, we will go back to his clinic and he will show us some alternatives that you can use to measure your body composition. And of course, that has a knock-on effect on your health as well.
People come here, they want to know their body fat percentage. And thank God we've moved on from weight, okay? Yep. There was weight, then there was BMI, which was just as bad as weight because it's based on weight.
And that's what the government bases all their guidelines on. It's
exactly.
Awful.
And it is awful. I really can't believe that the medical fraternity still uses it. It's just a nightmare. So beyond weight and BMI, then we have body fat percentage. So body fat percentage is obviously a better measure because we're starting to talk about body composition, but there are better numbers beyond that. If you think about it, body fat percentage with one number is trying to measure fat and non-fat at the same time. It's the proportion of you that's fat. So if the proportion of you that's fat is X%, then obviously it's taking into account what's not fat, yes. Right? The non-X%, 100 minus X. We're not really interested in fat as a percentage, we're interested in how much fat you have and how much lean mass and muscle you have.
Yep.
So you can affect your body fat percentage by changing muscle.
Either or.
Yeah, either or, exactly. So I'll give you a couple of numbers on here that move you on from body fat percentage. All right.
As you can see, Phil is also not a very big fan of BMI, but to illustrate the point, let's stick in some figures that I got from my scan. To illustrate the problem with using body weight and BMI as measures, let's just look at the following three indices: BMI, weight, and body fat percentage. Now, I think weight and body fat percentage, it's quite obviously what those are, but let's look closer at the formula that makes up the BMI. Above the line, you have total body weight, which is simply the weight of your fat, bone, muscle, and other bits. Now, other bits include the weight of your organs, your skin, and connective tissue. That is then divided by your height squared. And worth saying is that because the weight of your muscle, organs, and skin can't easily be distinguished from each other, that is simply bundled up as lean mass. Now, to make the figures more real, I'll stick my own current figures in here that I received from the Dexa scan. I am 21 kilograms of fat, 3 kilograms of bone, and 56 kilograms of lean mass, which gives me my total body weight of 80 kilograms, body fat percentage of 26%, and my BMI, if I do the sum, is 24.6. And as you can see here in the corner, according to the NHS website, I'm just marginally under the overweight category. So to explain the problem with using body mass as an indicator, I'll be running two scenarios. The first is if I lost 6 kilograms of only fat. Now that will of course be a brilliant outcome. That would mean that I stuck to my diet, it worked out really well, and I managed to lose 6 kilograms of fat without losing any muscle mass in the process. Sticking in those revised figures means that my body fat would come down to 15 kilograms and the rest will stay the same, which will result in a body weight of 74 kilograms, a body fat percentage of 20%, and calculating it all out give me a BMI of 22.8. According to the NHS website, supposedly a much more favorable position to be in. I'll compare this against a scenario on the complete opposite side of the scale, which is if I were to lose 6 kilograms of only muscle. Now you might think this is an unlikely scenario to happen in real life, but Phil actually has recorded clients to which this has happened. If this happened to me, it probably meant that I cut my calories too drastically, and what was supposed to be a diet is perceived by my body as famine, and it will start feeding off my muscles for energy to run my body with. Sticking in the revised figures in this scenario means that fat and bone stays the same, whilst lean mass drops to 50 kilograms, which will give me a body weight of 74 kilograms, a body fat percentage of 28%, and if I calculate it all out, it will give me a revised BMI still of 22.8. Now let's just compare the figures quickly for these two scenarios and see what we get to. My weight, obviously I lost 6 kilograms in both scenarios, gives 74, that's exactly the same. But interestingly enough, BMI also in both these scenarios stay exactly the same. Whilst the body fat percentage is 20% in the first one if I lost fat and 28% if I lost muscle. Now looking at these figures side by side, I think it's very clear that using body weight and BMIs as indicators of both a healthy body weight and also an indicator of any kind of progress that you're trying to make is really misleading and completely oversimplified. So there you have it. As you can see, just like body weight, BMI is not a really good measure to be tracking yourself against in terms of health or body composition. And like a lot of scientists, I think it is now dated and that we should kick it into the long grass. I will put a good article that I found online in the notes below that you can also read. That is really interesting. Anyway, that is my rant over. Next week we'll be joining Phil in his clinic down in Bank, and he'll be sharing a lot of really interesting stuff with us. How you can track your body fat and your lean mass separately or independently from each other. And spoiler alert, it is not body fat percentage. A lot of you probably think it is, but it is even better than that. Anyway, please remember to share with your friends and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Until next week, goodbye.